Welcome, everyone. This is episode 23, and I've titled this episode Stay or Leave, the Corporate Woman's Dilemma. I'm Sherry Harmel, certified career and life coach and creator of Be the Real You. And recently, I was working with a group of women on self-esteem in my mini course, Recapture Your Joie de Vie. And we talked about how thoughts create beliefs, which essentially dominate the direction of our lives. We also talked about the RES system in our brains. It's called the reticular activating system. This is the part of your brain that really listens to you and filters what you've told it is important. Example of how that works, and many of us have heard this example. Let's say you're looking to buy a new car and you're thinking about a BMW, and suddenly you see that car everywhere. Every parking lot, every road you're on, suddenly there are BMWs. So it's not, though, that there are more BMWs on the road. What's important is that you told your brain that BMWs are important to you. And so your brain has listened. You have essentially programmed your RAS system to look for and watch for BMWs. So your thoughts and beliefs essentially program your RAS system to find and attract all the people and experiences you need to prove to yourself that what you think and believe about yourself are actually true. So in the course discussion, I was using simple examples like, if I believe I'm overweight and I'll never lose the weight, then when I walk into the grocery store, the first thing I'll see are all those treats and candies that are displayed, right in front of the fruit and veggie aisles. But my brain is focused on what I told it, that I'm overweight and there's nothing I can do about it. So my brain, or my RAS system, says, give the girl some treats, and zoom, here they are. Well, we talked about several different examples of how the universe around us gives us exactly what we tell it and exactly what we think and believe about ourselves. But one woman shared something that I thought was super important, and I wanted to share it with you today. She said that some of her beliefs are easy for her to reprogram, but while others are much more difficult. And I asked her to give me examples of the easy and then the difficult. And I should preface this by saying this woman is a strong, smart, professional gal who has worked in corporate her entire career. She said she has no issues with changing her lifestyle to be more healthy or to lose the baby weight after she gave birth to her second child. But she keeps dreaming of starting something of her own. And this one is so much harder than any other change she's embraced in her life. Something just keeps holding her back. Great point. Yes, some changes are much more difficult than others. Embracing a new eating program, getting your home, maybe your office organized, creating new habits even, all have some degree of potential failure, but it's not all that threatening. Failure in those examples might even be something that you laugh off. But leaving a corporate career and starting your own business, that's entirely different. We are now in the realm of Brene Brown's conversation on vulnerability. Corporate jobs provide an identity that the world around you understands and knows. I see it all the time. I'm a member of the Boston Club, which is a group of incredibly accomplished professional women in Boston who are seeking or working on corporate boards. Whenever I attend an event or a gathering by the Boston Club, the conversation of the women around me focuses on what they do for work. It's easy to see that much of their self-cred, if I call it that, is the company they work for and the position they hold. Now, although I have loads of corporate experience, I'm a complete oddball in that group. But I'm used to being an oddball. These women are not. If I can generalize, if you are a corporate woman, you have had to conform to get to where you are. You have had to dance the dance to fit in. So to step out of that world, even if you are unhappy, is a huge step. And why? It's all because of mindset, those thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself. So maybe you find yourself asking questions like, who am I if I leave corporate and start something of my own? What if I fail? What if I'm wrong? Can I handle the public embarrassment? What if I have to return to corporate? You might even have created some untested conclusions, such as, if I have to return to corporate, I'll never re-enter at the level I'm at right now. All of these possible thoughts connect back to your self-image or your self-esteem. Those are both related to how you view yourself, your self-perception, or your self-confidence, which is your ability to be able to go out and successfully do something. All of these, self-image, self-esteem, self-confidence, are connected and interwoven and under the mindset umbrella. If ditching corporate and starting something of your own is continually in your thoughts, and yet you find you're taking no action, you first need to identify what it is that you are really afraid of. And you have to peel back that onion of fear to get to what it is that you are really, really afraid of. Now, this means you have to be totally and completely honest with yourself, but also willing to almost objectively observe your deepest fears, because it is the fears that are keeping you from taking any action. Next, I want you to judge the fears. When I ask my clients to tell me what they fear most in this kind of a situation, I hear these worst case scenarios. Now, I'll give you an example. Way back when I got divorced and I was pivoting into a different area of my life, both personally as well as professionally, I had this fear that I'd be a homeless woman with all my belongings in a grocery cart that I was like pushing down the road. I could literally see myself as that woman, as though I was in a movie. In contrast, what I couldn't see as clearly was being successful at my new career path, growing my wealth, and being happy. I had to put in a good bit of work to see that successful, happy woman as clearly as I saw that homeless me. Now, you're probably laughing right now, but I want you to do this for yourself. And I think that you'll see that your greatest fear in leaving corporate is something that certainly hasn't happened and most likely will not happen. But to get your mind wrapped around that realization and be less afraid, you have to acknowledge your worst case scenarios and then logically analyze the reality of your fears. So figure out, what are those worst case scenarios? Write them down. Now, rate them if you need to. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely will they actually happen? Now, if you look and you see 6s or 7s, let it go. Those are not very likely. For the biggies though, the 8, 9, 10s, I want you to look at each and explore what you could do to make sure those don't happen. Bottom line is, you have the power to determine the outcome. Remember, your thoughts and beliefs will either bring you the people and experiences to assist you in making your business happen or not. And thinking about those worst case scenarios is actually giving the worst case scenarios a whole lot of undeserved energy. Remember my dream of being a homeless woman with my shopping cart of possessions? Well, I learned that that was a silly vision. And I remind myself over and over that I'm a very smart woman I began my career in financial services as a stockbroker, so I'm fiscally responsible. I would never let any of my choices take me to the point of homelessness. My worst case scenario was highly unlikely. Honestly, it was a big pile of you know what. Now, if you're still not convinced, here's another fun exercise. This comment came from a woman who, in my mini course, Recapture Your Joie de Vie, and she said, and I thought this was really poignant, remind yourself that time will pass regardless of whether or not you make a decision. So, even if you do nothing with the dream of starting something on your own, working on something you feel passionate about, where you can use all your gifts and strengths, time is still going to march on. So the exercise is to pretend it's 10 years from now. Close your eyes, if that helps. Imagine you're 10 years older, as is your partner and your children. It's 2031. You're now going to write 2 letters. The first letter is from the you who did nothing. Nothing different, stayed on the same path, gave your gifts away in the exact same way you are today. So if you're 40 years old, you're writing this letter as a 50-year-old corporate gal who stayed in corporate. What is her life like? What are her days like? Who does she report to? Who are her direct reports? Is she on a team or is she leading a team? Who are the people she interacts with day after day? Has the company grown? Are the shareholders happy? How does she feel when she wakes up each morning? I want you to imagine her feelings, her regrets, and her promises to herself and put them all in the letter. When you're done with that, I want you to start your second letter. Again, 10 years from now. But this letter is from the you that left corporate and started her own dream business. Now, be real. Starting a business isn't all flexibility and ease, but you're writing the letter as though we fast forwarded and you now have put 10 years into the business that you started back in 2021. Who are the shareholders in this business? Are they happy? How does she feel? What are her days like? How are her gifts and talents being used? Who does she report to? Who reports to her? Who is she surrounded by each and every day? And how does she feel when her feet hit the ground with each new day? So I want you to imagine her feelings, her regrets, her promises to herself. And when complete, read those letters out loud to yourself. Stand in front of a mirror if you need to. But notice, what's most important is that you notice how you feel in your body, how much energy is moving around you when you read each letter. Ladies, your intuition is the source of your brilliance. So that's why I want you to connect with your body as you're reading each letter, because you will get all sorts of wisdom. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So message me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, drop me an email, whatever it is. It's most important that I hear from you. And in the next few months, I'm going to be announcing a couple of new products that I'm super excited about. One is expected to be a course that I've currently titled Design That Business You've Always Wanted. This mastermind course would be perfect for any of you who are ready to ditch corporate and start a business. Now, more information is going to be coming, but again, if you're interested, just let me know. As always, I want to thank you for listening and for being on this journey with me. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe, write me a review, because reviews matter. Have a great day. A biento.